So it's my great honor to introduce my very good friend, Joseph ERIKSON. He is running for City Council of Everett. I had a chance to be at Joseph's kickoff speech, and what he talked about and the way he talked about how our politics need to change and how our governments need to serve people instead of serving corporations, and how we need to take care of each other. I mean, it literally brought me to tears, and I'm so proud to know him, and I really hope that we can get him elected to Everett. Fairly conservative city council right there, as is the case in a lot of places, and we really need to start changing that. So Joseph, come on over.
Jason Paul, thanks so much. Hey, so I'm a public school teacher, and I want to talk a little bit about why I decided to run for office. Because, you know, when you're a teacher, you're serving anyway. I've served a lot of kids over time. I've brought anti-racist education to the classroom. I have a lot of kids who are homeless. One of the problems that we have in this area is the skyrocketing cost of housing. You just heard from Sean Scott. Sean Scott makes a great case in his book about the housing crunch for millennials. I'm included in that. I'm one of the older millennials. So let me tell you real quick why housing is such a problem for people my age. I'm the first person in my family to graduate high school, let alone college. My parents were homeless when I was born. My dad's a heroin addict. They were 17 years old when I was born. We grew up in New York City. New York City is very hostile to very poor people, as most big cities are. And now I've taught a lot of kids who don't have stable housing. And in the city of Everett, where I live, which is the city north of Seattle, it's sort of like a bedroom, old manufacturing kind of Rust Belt type of town. They want to build a homeless shelter, a homeless housing facility, a facility that's going to support people, students who are experiencing homelessness. There's about 1,100 kids in the district who are experiencing homelessness. Now, this organization, Housing Hope, put together a great plan to build this really supportive housing structure right next to Sequoia High School, one of the alternative housing, the alternative schools in the district. And the city council, which, if you ask them, 5 of the 7 people in the Everett City Council, hey, what's happening? Come on in, it's all good. I love your hair. If you ask 5 to 7 city council people in my town of Everett, they would say that they're Democrats. Well, when they brought this proposal to build this facility to get kids in shelter, to get them support on this piece of land that was basically like a busted old baseball backstop on a plot of grass that nobody uses. It just kind of collects grass. It collects like bottles of needles. You know, it's one of those kind of like areas of the city nobody likes. We got a bunch of NIMBYs. A lot of them actually came up from Seattle. Some of them support a guy named Ari Hoffman down here. And they came all the way up to Everett, and they said, we don't want you giving our tax money to lazy people. And they railed against the city council. This is called NIMBYism. They said, we don't want this. This is going to drive down the housing costs in our city. And the city council, 5 of the 7 again, say they're Democrats. They sided with the NIMBYs. And they said, well, we're going to have a 6-month moratorium on this because a handful of people came out to the city council. Let me tell you something. Your job is to serve. Your job is to help people. It is not to help the developers. It is not to help the corporations that line your pockets. I met with the Boeing union workers. They are pissed that they are being shafted by a union-busting mega corporation. Those people are donating to these council members, to people like Rick Larson, to people like Scott Vader, thousands and thousands of dollars. And that company is going out and union busting. These people are not helping working class people. They are not helping people that need the help. They are not helping kids. They are not helping addicts. They are not helping working class people who cannot afford to buy a home. I have $177,000 of student loan debt. I've done the work. I was the first person to graduate high school in my family. I went to community college. I went to state school. I went and got a master's degree. I became a teacher. I didn't take out over $100,000, but that's compound interest for you. Students are being used like piggy banks at 6.9% compound interest. How are you going to tell a whole generation of people, my people, millennials, young people, to go ahead and buy a house and have the American dream when they're sitting on 6 figures in college debt? If you go to University of Washington here, it's $120,000 for a 4-year education. Come on in, homies. What's happening, man? Hey, Max. Hey, John. It's $120,000 for a 4-year education. You think a working class person is going to be able to buy a house with that kind of student debt, and that's going to keep compounding interest? You make $1,000 minimum payment a month, you're still not going to pay that off. because you're only covering interest. The system is rigged. I know Bernie said that a lot, but I've lived it. I've been there. We have to have grassroots people. If you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know, man, what do I run for? School board, city council, fire commissioner, health district, little things like this. So many of those people who were in DC, who are holding down the working class, started out in those positions. The guy I'm running against is anti-choice, anti-union, anti-LGBT, and he's like the financial director for the Catholic Church. He's just a guy who lives down the street, you know, and he's gonna run for state legislature. Our Congressman, Bert Larson, who's done nothing to help working class people, nothing substantial, started out as a dental lobbyist. He got appointed to a county council job and then walked into a congressional seat that he's held for 20 years and has done very little to nothing to help working class people. That needs to end. The revolution is coming. We are coming for you. I'm talking to y'all rich white people. It's not about y'all anymore. We got enough folks in here. We are ready. The revolution is on. Vote for me. It's Joseph Eriksson, or it's electjoseph.com. I'm Bernie 2020.